But I have always found it a little strange that the year that my community, this community, chose to give an IGF award to a game that was anti-colonialist, anti-racist, unabashedly feminist, pointedly diverse, and, well, written by an Indian woman.
For those that don't know, GDC is actually the hive of SJWs within the gaming world. It's not when you go to E3, people just want to see the games, but on GDC, you've had Tim Schafer in the past also making stupid statements about Gamergate, and they are continuing this narrative this year. And you have the buzzwords with diversity, anti-colonial, feminist. The only thing that really is missing here is anti-capitalist here, and who really cares about any of that? I've probably never heard of her game, because GDC is basically the echo chamber of SGWs within gaming, and I had never heard of her. Just like nobody had heard of Zoe Quinn or Brianna Wu or Anita Sarkeesian until they started bashing gamers and then played the victim when they get criticized for their scams and their dishonesty and slander. And if Gamergate would have had a figurehead or some sort of leader or someone they could attack, they would have all been sued for defamation a long time ago, because there is so much nonsense. So I just wanted to stop the video just here in the beginning, because these are the people that we're dealing with when it comes to GDC. And this video is just gonna get worse. So let's continue with the video.
Was also the same year that our audiences were engulfed by Gamergate. And it felt at that time as though we rejected that campaign of hatred. But it's actually never felt closer to me right now. A mutated strain of that poison that made video games its testing ground has bubbled up in Christchurch, New Zealand.
Okay, so where do I begin with this? So you have this statement and claim that Gamergate was basically a harassment campaign and was evil. Yet, why is it the case that a feminist outlet did a research on Gamergate and could find it was less than 1% of 10,000 tweets that could be considered harassment? And FBI basically closed down and couldn't find anything on Gamergate. So you have the government saying they couldn't find anything. You have a feminist outlet that did research into this that said they didn't find anything. Then you have the connection to the horror that happened in New Zealand. So you're seriously connecting Gamergate to that. Citation needed. How does that have to do with anything with what Gamergate did? Like, seriously. That is so pathetic and really reaching for trying to find something on Gamergate. You have the introduction of this woman basically telling everyone she's Antifa, like a Marxist or a communist, and go straight to Gamergate and that it's a bad thing. This isn't the first time. As I mentioned, Tim Schafer did the same thing in 2015. And they just can't move on and admit the fact that they have lied. They've tried to silence people. They've censored people. I myself got censored on one of the biggest sites during Gamergate because I had concerns about ethics. And found out, for example, GameSpot had no ethics policy. They didn't disclose that it was a preview event when they reviewed Metal Gear Solid 5 and basically got banned for this. And ever since they've run with this narrative, so by these people logic, gamers find out that someone has been sleeping with journalists and people in the industry to get positive coverage, and people see there that may be a conflict of interest, and then said journalist doesn't disclose that they're friends or have slept with each other or that he's donated money to her. And just a few days later, the whole media goes out and attacks gamers and saying gamers are dead, gamers don't have to be audience. How does that make any sense whatsoever when people wanted to have a disclosure on unethical behavior within journalism? It just doesn't make any sense.
It fueled a monster who went to a mosque with murder in his heart. And if we don't utterly and vocally and wholly reject these people, these Nazis and fascists and white supremacists, then we are inviting them in.
The only thing missing from that stupid statement is homophobic and transphobic. Because I've been called this so much now without any evidence, because I hate identitarians who follow an ideology that wants to kill people and wants to silence people, whether it's on the left or on the right or the right. And for this woman, or I don't want to assume the gender of this person, so I'll say that this person to just label everyone within Gamergate this, and just to claim that Gamergate is the one that made him do this, without, of course, any evidence whatsoever. This is what hate actually looks like. These people are the ones always saying microaggressions are dangerous. We should tolerate people's feelings. We should be gentle. We should not be triggered. We should have safe spaces. Yet, on the same exact breath, they will say anyone who has any different opinion than them, that they're a fascist, white supremacist, Nazi. You see the hypocrisy of these people. So they start with, we just want to be inclusive and feministic and all these things. But screw those people, because they are responsible for the people that got killed in New Zealand. Are you serious right now? I'm going to invoke Hitchens Razor, because I don't have to prove anything. I was proudly a member and participant of Gamergate, and tried to improve the industry in the way I could. I couldn't do much as a person, as an individual, but I tried my best to do my part in raising awareness, making videos, having streams, having discussions, and reading articles and things like that. But every time I mention I was part of Gamergate, I get these things thrown in my face, and these same people advocate for being inclusive, tolerant, and not have microaggression, or not insulting. Just be nice to each other. I mean, the hypocrisy is so stunning that it boggles the mind. It's really amazing to watch the cognitive dissonance within these people, where they can have double standards in just a few sentences.
If we make room for them, then there is no room for anyone else. And what we represent here tonight must stand in opposition to them. And we have to do it together. But rejecting hate is only half the battle. The other half of the battle is, in its way, much harder. It is to ask, how do we make people feel welcome? How do we keep them safe and happy as well as whole? Last year, I became too chronically ill to work, and I am only here still making games because of the understanding and the generosity of some incredible colleagues in the indie games community.
Okay, so I had to write down some of the things she said. So by making room or accepting us, there's no room for anyone else. Who is telling anyone that they're not welcome in the industry? Who is stopping anyone from starting up their PC and starting to learn to code and game design? There's nothing. There are even free tools you can use to make games. I mean, hell, if we're going by that logic, Zoe Quinn's Depression Quest, where you just do a survey, basically, is a game. Who's stopping anyone from doing that? No one. And you need to stand in opposition. Opposition to what? Gamergate is basically dead at this point. There's nothing to be opposed. Gamergate it's just a hashtag, and it was pretty much over in 2016. I mean, is there anyone really that is doing hashtags of Gamergate and doing campaigns all the time? I seriously doubt it. And rejecting hate is half the battle. How do you reject hate? Is it hate speech you're trying to reject? Because no matter what you do, you're the one actually spewing hate here by accusing people who've just posted in a hashtag are hateful. Isn't that really hateful of you? So you're not rejecting hate, you're embroiled in it. You're sharing it on a stage, telling everyone who just posted in a hashtag is a Nazi. Seriously. Go look in the mirror. This is projection at its finest. You're the hateful ones. I can accept your opinion, but you want to silence me. That's the ironic part here. And you say the other half of the battle is to make people feel welcome. Again, who is stopping anyone from playing games, buying a PC, a phone, a console, whatever you want to choose, and just playing a game? Or coding? Who is stopping anyone? This is such stupidity on a whole new level. And you see these seals like they're clapping their hands and accepting this bull crap, because that's what GDC is. Now I'm gonna end with a clip of Tim Schafer ridiculing the guy who started Not Your Shield. For those who don't know, Not Your Shield, it was basically because Gamergate was accused of being just a white man in someone's basement, and this guy basically told minorities and women to post in Not Your Shield and show them that Gamergate was as diverse in opinion as it was diverse in races and and men and women. So just to keep that in mind, that is how racist these people are. So thank you guys for watching, and enjoy this clip.
Visual art for games becomes more and more complex. Whole teams are required to create assets for games that historically were made by a single artist. These days, it could take up to 8 people to make a single piece of armor.
Oh! How many Gamergaters does it take to make a single piece of armor?
Oh God, I don't know.
50. 1 to do the modeling, 1 to do the materials, and 40 to tweet that it's not your shield.
Okay. Again, I cannot be blamed for what the puppet says.